Hey YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and first off, I hope everybody had a great Christmas or holiday season. I had a wonderful one. Now, really quick, I just wanted to show you a few new knives that I've gotten in the mail, and few have been already shown on the channel. So like this Bijou here, this Classic here, and I picked up a few more. And one of these was actually a sneak peek, and that was a executive knife that had no scales. But I ended up putting blue Celador scales on this one, and it cleaned up real nice. Got a little bit of oil on the blade, but you can see here that the blade is not abused, not horribly used. And we've got, of course, the smaller pen blade, a little bit of oil, and then we've got our scissors, and then we've got the nail file. So this one came out great. I'm really happy with the new blue scales. I'm actually really loving the blue that Victorinox uses for the Celador, and I'm probably going to go with a few more blue scaled knives. Then the other one that I actually picked up was this Farmer. And this is a blue Farmer from the early 2000s. The best I can figure out is that it's probably from 2005, 2006. And this here was before they were doing all the limited editions. So they were actually producing a lot of these different colors just as production pieces. So this one here is actually quite rare since it doesn't have the I guess commemoration date of any limited edition run. Doesn't have a company logo on it, so this one is really hard to find. I've only seen two out in the wild like this. It's not saying that this is an extremely rare knife. I mean, this is probably from the early 2000s, and they produced a ton of these. It's just these were like probably just heavily used and abused because they're production pieces, but now people are actually hunting for these colors. So this is the Farmer. It's essentially a Pioneer, but you get an added saw blade. Now I'm actually going to be correcting the satin finish on this saw blade. It's got some pretty bad scratches on it, but that'll be easy to correct. This one is probably one of the highlights of some of the pickups that I've gotten, and I will be doing a video on it, comparing it to the Pioneer X, the Pioneer, and then the Farmer itself. So we've got those two. Next, we've got, I believe this is called a Prince. It's either a Prince or a Princess. And this here is a 74mm knife. And I have red scales coming in for this one. But this has only two tools, a knife blade and then a nail file. And I guess you could count that as a secondary tool, a nail cleaner. And what I found interesting about this one specifically is that, let me see if I can get the brightness up in here. Okay. Is that I think the scales are brass scales, which I don't know where that would place this year-wise. I mean, of course, you can always consult the Tang stamp on this, which is right there. And I don't know. This is probably from the 80s. And I'm really happy to have this one because it's such a slim carry. This is actually going to be one that I'm not going to be selling. I'm just going to put new scales on it. And it's something that I actually really would enjoy carrying because at home, I really just need a knife blade and a nail file. And sometimes this could probably be used as a small Phillips for the kids' toys. So there we go, another 74mm. Now this one here is, I believe this one is a Princess. I just don't know if this is actually a Princess considering it's a 74mm. So this one here is essentially the same thing. It is a knife blade, and then it is a nail file. Now I haven't cleaned any of these yet except for this one, and these just all need to be cleaned. Also, I picked up a broker. And this broker here actually has nothing engraved on the panel, which is kind of hard to find on these. This is exactly like a Classic, except it's got these stainless steel covers here, and it really is a wonderful thin little piece that you could carry either in your pocket or on your keys, and it weighs practically nothing. You can see here it has the stainless steel rivet, so it's a little bit more of a modern knife. I believe this is from the 1990s. You can see the Tang stamp here, right there. And this one was really a great pickup because I actually do have another broker, but it has somebody's initials. So it's kind of nice to have one with no initials. I won't be putting my own on this. I think it's kind of nice to have nothing there. Now, this one here is, I want to say, it's not the Windsor, but it is a Prince. I believe this is called the Prince. And this here is a 74mm knife. It has global navigation, a unit of Sundstrand Corporation on it. Now this is probably a company promotional item, pretty nice promotional item if you ask me. But this here is essentially like your Executive, except you don't have all those tools. All you have is one knife blade here, and then there's your Tang stamp, probably from the 80s or 90s here. This is probably from the mid 80s. And then you have another knife blade. Now the Windsor actually has this as a nail file. And then here you have this really interesting nail file right here. So you've got a really interesting nail cleaning tool, and then you've got this aggressive file here. Now what's really actually quite amazing is, I didn't realize it, but I'm actually accumulating a very extensive 74mm nail file collection, because Victorinox did quite a few different nail files. And you can see here, this is all 74mm frames, except they're 3 different files. So it's quite interesting to be able to compare those and have all of those in hand. Because I saw a lot of these on SAC Wiki, and I was like, man, it'd be really cool to have all of the models that have these long nail files. Now this one here I haven't cleaned up. I will be polishing it. I'll keep the company logo intact, but this here is going to be probably something I will carry, because this is very useful, having a small blade, a large blade and a small blade, and then a nail file. That just makes sense to have around in your pocket. And the spring tension, if you haven't heard, it's really good snaps. So there are those two, and this one also has very good snap. And then I got a small companion. This has Hughes Aircraft Company Ground Systems Group, Fullerton, California, and then nothing on the back. This one I've gauged to be in the 80s probably, but this one was just going to be a user. I actually picked up these 3 in a lot, so that actually worked out pretty good. Did I pick it up in that lot? I think I picked it up. I think I may have picked up these 2 in a lot, and then there's one more that I picked up in this lot, and I don't have it on the table here with me. But yeah, I'm really happy about these smaller knives, these 74mm frame knives, and I'm just going for different colors. I mean, I really do like these blue Victorinox knives, so I'm picking up a few more. I will be putting new scales on this one here and this one here. The scales on this are, I guess you'd call standard scales. They have no scale tools on them, but personally, something like this so minimal, I think having scale tools on it is kind of a benefit. But I just thought you guys would enjoy seeing what I have picked up and what I'll be talking about in the new year. I have quite a few knives that I've actually picked up, and I need to do reviews and videos on, and historical review perspective videos on, because these knives here and the different nail files is actually very interesting to see. So when they changed over to different technologies and why they kept one or the other. I mean, I know why they kept using this nail file for the Executive, because I mean, it's so thin. You're able to keep that frame shape, and size, and then also be able to throw in the orange peeler on the other side. But if they used something like this, where it's got this thick stock on it, you would be taking up a lot more room. So it's very interesting to see the changes and decisions made by Victorinox. So thought you guys would enjoy seeing all these, and again, I hope all of you had a great holiday season, and I cannot wait to interact with all of you in the coming year. So till the next one, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.